Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever felt completely trapped in endless meetings and projects that just seem to go absolutely nowhere? If that sounds familiar, you are in the right place. Today, we're going to break down a really powerful 5-day framework for cutting through all that chaos and solving big problems fast.
Okay, let's dive right in with a feeling that is probably a little too familiar for a lot of us. This quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's that feeling of being constantly busy, but not actually getting anything important done. You know, you're just running on that hamster wheel, buried under tasks, and you're not moving the needle on what really matters. And this is what our source material calls the normal way of working. But here's the big question it asks. Is this really working for us? I mean, is this chaotic, reactive churn really the best way to solve our most important problems? Now, this slide just shows the contrast perfectly. On the left, you've got that typical day. It's totally fragmented. And all that context switching, it comes at a huge cost. Research shows it can take you over 20 minutes to really get your head back in the game after an interruption. That just kills any deep creative work. But the alternative on the right, that's a focus day, where one single important goal gets your team's undivided attention. So this exact frustration with the typical workday is what led a designer at Google, a guy named Jake Knapp, to start searching for a better process. I mean, after years of experimenting with everything, brainstorming workshops, productivity hacks, you name it, he and his team developed this really structured process that became what we now call a sprint.
So let's be clear, a sprint isn't just another word for working really hard. Think of it more like a recipe, a very specific 5-day recipe that's designed to completely shortcut that endless debate cycle and compress months, literally months of time, into a single week. It's not about working longer, it's about working smarter on the right things together.
And this right here, this illustrates the core idea perfectly. I mean, imagine having a time machine for your biggest projects. Instead of building something for 6 months, only to find out nobody wants it, a sprint lets you jump ahead. You get to see a glimpse of that future, see how customers will react in just 5 days.
To really see how this superpower works in the real world, let's look at this fantastic story from the source material about a startup called Savioke. So they built this delivery robot for hotels, but they ran into a very, very human problem.
So picture this. They had this amazing piece of technology, right? A robot that could navigate a hotel all by itself and deliver stuff to guests. But they were worried. How is a robot supposed to act around people? Would guests be unnerved, maybe even a little scared to see a machine show up at their door with a toothbrush? So instead of debating this for months and months, the Savioke team ran a sprint. They sketched out a bunch of ideas and then decided to test one of the riskiest concepts on the table, giving the robot a real personality. We're talking a digital face with blinking eyes, some sound effects, and, the wildest part, a little happy dance after it made a delivery. And the result? It was immediate and completely undeniable. Guests weren't creeped out at all. They absolutely loved it. They thought the robot was charming. People were taking pictures with it, posting videos online, and even trying to order more things just to see it come back. The team got their answer in just 1 week.
And that little risky bet, it paid off in a massive way. That charming little robot became a viral sensation, leading to over 1 billion media impressions in its very first month. That one 5-day experiment didn't just solve a design problem, it handed them the marketing hook they needed to launch a whole successful business.
So how does a team actually get from a big problem like, is our robot creepy, to a tested solution in just 1 week? Well, the magic is really in the 5-day structure. The entire week is this really logical progression, where every single day has a specific job. On Monday, the team maps out the whole problem, so everyone agrees on a single target. Then on Tuesday, instead of some chaotic group brainstorm, everyone sketches solutions by themselves. This brings out way better, more diverse ideas. Wednesday is decision day. The team critiques all the sketches and picks the strongest one to actually prototype. On Thursday, you build a realistic facade, not a perfect finished product, but something that looks real enough to test. And finally, on Friday, the moment of truth. You test that prototype with real, live customers, and you get their honest, unfiltered reactions.
So what's the ultimate takeaway from all this? Why is this structured week so incredibly powerful?
Ultimately, it all comes down to this. Building and launching a full product is the hard way to learn something. It costs a ton of time and money. A sprint lets you learn those exact same lessons, but without all the painful investment. It's a way to find a fatal flaw in 5 days instead of 6 months, or to prove you've got a brilliant idea before you bet the entire company on it.
And that leaves us with a really provocative question to think about. Whether it's a challenge at work, a new product idea, or just a complex project, what's that huge, intimidating goal that's been sitting on your back burner? What if you could make real, tangible progress on it? If you just gave it one focused week?